Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It is me, Mashir's Cameraman, and today I am reviewing Daredevil, the First Defender. So, this is a Menacing Studios fan film. They've produced a lot of fan films in the past, and I've made a lot of videos talking about their channel. I've spoke about their fan films a lot. I've also spoke about my thoughts on predicting these future projects, especially this one. So, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Before we get into it, if you haven't already voted for the Fan Film Awards 2023, do that now. This is a huge event. We are so excited to be bringing such a big scale thing to you guys. You're going big with this year. So vote. Share the form, please. Channels, we want to see you guys try because we want to see. I can't wait to see who's going to win this year. Currently, we have over 100 votes, which is crazy. It's been like a day. But please keep sharing this form. We want to see really who the best fan film is. Besides that, let's get into it. So, in my opinion, this fan film has a lot of things I like and a lot of things I don't like. So much so that when I was watching it, I felt like I went from a scene that I really liked to a scene I was like, ugh. So much that I had to go back immediately after, no time wasted, and completely rewatched it to be like, oh. And I actually love this fan film. Like, it took me a watch, and I was very critical on my first watch. I rewatched it, I loved it. Is this the best Menacing Studios fan film? In my opinion, I think it could be. I think you can make an argument for Beyond Negative. I think you can make an argument for this. Let's talk about what kind of the overall plot. Daredevil is working with Foggy Nelson, and there's this evil politician named Kingpin, and he's, like, killing vigilantes, and it's his whole plot. I really like Kingpin in this, but I'll talk about him at the end of the review. So let's talk about let's begin with my issues. I think what really bugs me about it is the film immediately opens with that newspaper, the newscast or whatever. It doesn't, and I don't mind that that's the opening scene. I mind that that's how it opens. And if you've seen the fan film, you'll know. But I feel like it's edited in a really weird way. It opens with no Menacing Studios card, nothing. No, like, blackout, no, like not affiliated with Marvel Studios, by the fans, for the fans, all that normal stuff, right into it. And it was kind of jarring in a sense. Like, sometimes it has, like, the Menacing Studios logo or something. It went right into it. It's like, okay. Then it goes to the opening credits. The opening credits are good. But it just says Daredevil. It doesn't even say Daredevil, the First Defender. It just says Daredevil. And I even looked back 3 times to make sure it didn't say Daredevil, the First Defender anywhere. It never actually says in the film that it's called Daredevil, the First Defender. It just says Daredevil. I'm like, okay, that's a weird choice, but maybe it will happen at the end. They also don't mention the fact that Christian Hobbs directed, or, like, Joel Harris was an executive producer. It kind of is just like that opening credit sequence with all the actors. And it just ends with one actor, and then it cuts back to the scene. I'm like, okay, that's another jarring one. I was waiting for the directing thing, and then for it to go back. I was like, why did it just end? And then I was like, at the end of the credits, I was like, okay, let's see who worked on it. Because I watched your fan film credits. Again, they didn't even have credits. It just ended. And I feel like it was all just, like, I know how small credits seem. But it actually, like, if you think about credits, like, if you think about a movie, you're going to think, like, the good cut to credits that, like, Captain America has, or, like, is Captain America the Winter Soldier is some of the best, like, the cut to credits in that is incredible. But, like, think about if you were watching, like, what's a good example? If you were watching Shang-Chi, and it has the Katie and Shang-Chi walking through the portal, no music, it just says the music finishes, and there's no credits, it just cuts to black. It kind of ruins it. And I feel like that gun, the one with, like, the shot with the gun, and then Kingpin, like, the one, like, that shot that ends it, and then just cuts to credits with, like, loud, blaring music, that would be awesome, in my opinion. I think that would have, like, made it hit harder. Like, kind of at the end of Loki Season 1, Episode 6, when it was, like, that Statue of King, if it just cut to black and ended, that wouldn't have hit as hard as when that music just slammed on the screen. And I was like, oh, wow, that's the effect of it. Or, like, Loki Season 2, Episode 5. That ending wouldn't be so impactful if it wasn't the music, the credits rolling, the big impact of it. And I feel like even at the beginning, that slow thing really set the stage for it being a fan film, and I feel like it didn't build that well, and it didn't have, like, the title card that they've been showing with, like, all the smoke and stuff. Maybe in the first draft, because I know they did I didn't see the first draft, but if they did that with, maybe that was something that they got rid of. Personally, for me, it just messed with me, because when I first went into it, I was like, it just felt very jarring to me, and I love the opening credits, but, like, to someone who didn't read the title, who would probably be pretty stupid, they would just think this is Daredevil. And I think they had such an awesome title card with Daredevil and the First Defender under it. I thought that title card looked awesome. And then they just threw it out the window. They even got rid of, like, the smoke. It just said Daredevil in red font. And I don't know what editing decision that was. To me, it just didn't work. Like, it kept feeling, like, jarring, in a sense. Like, why is that the decision they made? Like, if they just did it normally, I wouldn't have thought about it. But, like, the fact that it's not there is, like, you can feel it missing, in a sense. Like, to someone who cared, like, oh, I want to know who directed this, they're not going to know unless they watch other videos and find out it was Christian Hobbs. I know because I was actually in an interview with them. I don't know if that's coming out, by the way. We did a whole, like, interview with Menacing Studios. I don't know if that's happening or not, if that's releasing, but it was a thing. So, I know a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but I feel like sometimes it's just those little things in the credits that just add something. I know I'm nitpicking a lot on literal credits, but I don't know. The other thing that I did not love is towards the middle of the film, there's a whole fight scene between Daredevil and these thugs. This fight scene goes on for around 5 minutes, which is just as long as the final fight scene. And these aren't even Kingpin. I feel like it goes on too long. And yes, I know it furthers the plot, but they didn't have to have them all keep coming back in, like, waves. Like, I liked it at first. I really liked it at first, and I liked it at the end, but I felt like it dragged on way too long. Like, I think that would have worked perfectly if the final fight scene was longer, or if the Kingpin fights were longer. Because I have a third thing that I want to talk about at the end, but I feel like it just I didn't love how it kind of just, like, had such a long block that I feel like didn't retain to any character besides Daredevil. And in a 30-minute fan film, with no credits, by the way, as I mentioned, 30-minute more like 25 with the 2-minute opening credits, a fifth of that fan film is with these thugs. And I feel like you can kind of see, if you look really at the percentages, how that feels a bit odd. I think that final thing is the ending fight scene. I love the red bathing all the characters. I just didn't understand why. If that was just an aesthetic choice, that's still a good aesthetic choice, but I feel like there should be, like, a plot connected to it. Maybe I missed something. I'll be honest, I may have missed something. But I feel like it looks awesome. I feel like they kind of needed, like, a why to do it. I did love this fan film, though. Those were, like, my 3 big things. Again, it's not big, though. I think a scene going a bit overstaying its welcome, that's basically the whole Spider-Man Lotus. A small, like, continuity error, all fan films have them. And then the credit thing is just a personal thing that I really don't like. I feel like they needed the credits. It just didn't work for me. But there's a lot I liked. I think the casting in this was really good. I loved all the characters in it. I think all the characters in it portrayed their character really well. And I also loved the story. I think the idea of them having this corrupt politician and then these 2 lawyers trying to fix it, and then having, like, Foggy reveal to everyone that Kingpin is evil, and Kingpin knowing that Murdoch is Daredevil, so then him capturing Foggy and then leaving, like, the voice recording or whatever, and then that final fight. I think that's such an interesting thing. And I also do love the final fight. I think it looks awesome, and I also like how it's not punch, punch, punch until the very end. I like how it's through the crates with all the red. I think it's different, and I think it works so well. And I think it works for Daredevil with, like, all the mystery in the fight. And I think it does what it aims to do so well. I think it's a short film, but I think it does everything I want it to do in the short film. I think the story could have... Look, the story is a bit condensed, but I think in this time, you still get a really good story. There isn't much filler, but it goes fast. It goes fast. You get to care about Foggy and Murdoch, and you get to understand Kingpin's motives more and more for when it goes into Spider-Man Bounty. And I feel like all these characters, sort of, we get to know in such a short period of time. And these short dialogues that these characters have in such a very condensed story, I think works so well. Like the short newscaster clips tell a story. I think it's all about telling a story and not having filler scenes. It's plot, plot, plot. And I think it really works for this film. I think there are films that wouldn't work for, but I think for this film it works. Because this is building off of other things. We already know Kingpin, so we don't need to have so much for him. And we already know a Daredevil. I don't think this is the same actor. But actually, maybe. It may be the same actor, but we already know a Daredevil. So I think it already lets us have a bit of a background, and it gives us a lot of time with these characters. It doesn't have many scenes without these characters, and if it is, it's with Kingpin. So I feel like it works to tell what it tells very well. It also has no green screen. It has a lot of practical sets. And it's not that I dislike green screen, but I feel like it pulls you out of the film a bit if it's not done so well. But I feel like this film didn't use it, and it worked. I think every scene kind of looked really good. And it told two rivaling plots. It showed Kingpin running for mayor, while it also showed Foggy and Murdoch fighting about like how they feel about vigilantes. And I think all those plots are just really interesting because they rival each other, with Kingpin trying to kill vigilantes. And I think those are very interesting. I think they tell a really good story, and they picked a really good story to tell. So is this better than Beyond Negative? I don't know. I think it's really good, and I think it tells its own story in a really short amount of time. And I think that's really good. But is it a perfect fan film? No. But I think it does such a great job at showing... It really is an amazing fan film. I know I've ripped into it a lot. And I do that sometimes. I rant a lot about one very tiny thing, which I did with the credits for this. But I still love this fan film. I think this fan film did so much good. I think for directing, I think this is one of the best directed fan films I've seen in a while. I like so many of the shots, especially the gunshot scene at the end. I think the editing looks great. I think it just looks really well when it comes to editing. Acting is incredible. The story is pretty good. Choreography in this, I do really like the fight scenes and how they're done in this way. And in the music, personally, it didn't work so much for me. It's not just my taste in music, but I know there are plenty of people who love the music taste in this. Would have liked the Daredevil scene, though. That would have been pretty cool. But overall, I think this fan film felt very much like a personal piece. Like, I could be wrong, but I feel like this didn't feel like a Daredevil story, like a Spider-Man story, kind of when they do the Spider-Man fan films. It felt very much like a Christian Hobbs piece, in a sense. I haven't seen anything else he's done, so I don't know. But you could feel it in the music, in, like, the establishing shots, in the way it was directed. It was directed in a sense that you could feel like a staple kind of coming off it. Like, how you could see how it was directed, in a sense. And it stood apart in some ways. I was like, I think this is not a Daredevil. I think this is a director's choice. And overall, I really like this fan film. Of course, there are things that could be better. But for me at least, it did everything I wanted it to do. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. I think you could see the heart that was put into it. And it felt fun. It felt interesting. It felt bright. And it also felt gritty and dark at the same time. And you could feel that heart and effort was put into it. And it didn't feel like a fan film. It felt like a personal film that they wanted to tell, a story that they were interested in, and they just put these characters in it. And I really enjoyed how they did that and how they told this story. Is this fan film perfect? No. There are definitely flaws. There are definitely things that could be improved on it. But overall, I think it does so much so well that you can't really, say that this fan film's bad or look at it compared to things like Ant-Man the Beginning. Because I feel like this is so much better. And I think you can make an argument that it's better than Beyond Negative, and I think you can make an argument that Beyond Negative is better than it. But I feel like the best thing that you can really say is that this fan film really knows how to stand on its own and tell a short story that is equally compelling and interesting. And I think it does that so well through its cinematography, through its music, through its acting, through its story, through its editing, and through its fighting. And overall, I think that's why this fan film just works so well. Yes, there's still my issues. And I think I'm kind of curious why they did those decisions with the credits, but who knows. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already voted for the Fan Film Awards, the trailer/announcement videos on my channel now, check that out. Go vote for the Fan Film Awards. This is on ballot, so is Spider-Man Beyond Negative. Ant-Man The Beginning is it? I know I got a comment saying that Ant-Man The Beginning is the best fan film of the year. It's not. I'm sorry. The other Beyond Negative and this are leagues better. And I'm not saying that to insult. I'm saying that these fan films are just so much better. And I think Daredevil could definitely be up there. Do I think it could win? I don't know. I think that's up to you guys to decide. But I think it could definitely battle with the best. Yeah. Besides that, thank you so much for watching this video. See you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.